And when you say like trying to land a craft on the celestial body is asinine, is it more less asinine and like more blaspheme in your mind?
I don't know. I say asinine to be dramatic. I think asinine means stupid, isn't it? I gotta double check.
Uh, can you
Hold
guys
on.
remember the time when we were wrong about things like things that happened in the past 2 years, for example? Yeah.
Yeah, asinine means does mean extremely stupid or foolish, and that's exactly it. Like I'm thinking to myself, like if this actually went down, like IRL, and I mean Demon Stride, you know how I feel about this stuff. I'm thinking these guys are gonna be sitting around in their office and they're like, "Yo, Bob, I got an idea." I'm like, "Bill, what's up?" We're going to build a vehicle and we're gonna land it on the moon. Bill looks over at Bob. What the hell are you talking about, dude? It disappears every 28 days. And then there's just silence in the room because, again, we don't have like firm enough proof to state that there's actually land up there, right? Only the idea that they proceeded upon that they're going to put a vehicle up there, right? But the observation that we have very consistently is this thing disappears, waxes and wanes every 28 days consistently. You can set your clock to it. In fact, they do. So I don't know. That's just my
Right.
thought.
What do you think about them like doing radar bouncing off of the moon? And you can do that in it when it's essentially gone phase.
Yeah,
Again,
totally
it's not for me. People, whoever. My thought on that is, I don't know, right? I don't know. But again, like whenever I'm in doubt, I go back to scripture and I'm like, okay, what does scripture say? Scripture does say that he installed this thing on the second day called the firmament. And then on the fourth day, he put the celestial bodies into the firmament. Okay, cool. So if the moon itself, I'm witnessing it on like up in the sky, it's a projection, it's holding back the waters as per, again, what scripture states, right? Don't put me on the stake for it. This is what scripture states. Then if the moon disappears and they're still bouncing something off of where the moon should be, I can only suspect that they are potentially hitting literally the surface being the firmament, the thing holding back the waters above. That's my only thought, if you're asking.
Interesting. Well, I guess in that mind, because you're saying that the moon is the thing keeping the waters away or held back or whatever. So what keeps them held back when the moon disappears on that 28th day?
Again, I didn't say the moon was holding back the waters, right?
Oh,
I said
I'm misunderstanding.
I was saying that what I said was the structure that we know, right? Let's call it the commercial, the atmosphere, right? The air structure that we know about is the firmament, and that's the thing that's holding back the waters, from my understanding, the structure. So again, if that was installed on the second day, and then he put the celestial bodies into the firmament, right? So that he took the lights. Imagine putting the lights into like a tarp or back behind fabric or something like that. So the lights are all there and they're moving around and doing their thing, and then that light disappears. So I'm behind the tent and I turn off my flashlight, so the light's gone, but somebody inside the tent is still able to, quote, ping that surface. That's what I'm thinking. They're pinging the surface, i.e., the actual firmament itself. My only thought.
Okay. Well, all right. So we could go a step further in that. If you accept that they're, pinging something physical or we're getting actual data back, then we can at least put a distance on the firmament. Do you agree?
Yeah,
Like at least it's an approximate
and
range.
I appreciate that question, and I have the clip published on my YouTube channel. The definition of the firmament, as of I think it was like the 58 version of the Encyclopedia Britannica, where they had the dimensions as to how high the firmament was above the ground, and so on and so forth.
Is that the Admiral Byrd one?
No, this is just an actual reading out of the Encyclopedia Britannica of the definition of the firmament.
Gotcha.
I'll throw it into the chat.
I was gonna say if you link it, I'll take a.
It wasn't a definition. It was not the definition of the firmament. It was the ice shelf. in the Arctic showed a firmament at 58,000 say feet or 58,000 something. It was
I
the
just
Arctic shelf. It was not the firmament.
Globe Joker just threw it in the chat. If you want to check it out yourself, please go ahead.
Will do. I'll do that after work here. Thank you.
Yeah, no stress, man. I appreciate the reaction, Smurf. Thanks, bro. But then the cool thing is, where I really start to have some fun in the sandbox is when I think about, okay, what is the firmament made out of? The potentiality of, like, if this thing is a thing, what's it made out of?
Would it be
And
from the ether?
I say the ether to me is the composition of the stuff within the system. But right now I'm just on the point of is just looking at what potentially this thing is. And I keep coming back to H3. This thing, it's a form of hydrogen. Tritium is the name of it. You could have a lake full of it and it would look like a valley, meaning like you wouldn't see it. And this is the thing that I think about, like, if the sky is in fact blue because it's in fact water, and then we have like planes go to altitude, we have high altitude footage, and all we see is the black of space. But then we have evidence of rockets like the Falcon 9 rocket launch being launched from the surface, where we have a ground mounted camera watching this thing go up into the sky and interact with something up there. And it traces a definite arc. And it definitely appears to break into pieces, 2 pieces at least. And again, it appears to make ripples in the sky. That's where I start to sit back and think, okay, 7 noble gases, which are the 7 colors of the rainbow: Roy Gibiv, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. And I think to myself, is this what we're witnessing? Like a constant spectrum of 7 colors, 7 noble gases. Yeah, thanks, boys.
The thing I would do is I would maybe look to see if you could do a